Back at it like a bad habit. Another week, another set of your favorite segment that exists on YouTube. Not just in the college football space, but just on YouTube in general. It's 25 questions, 25 ranked teams. We don't love the AP poll, but it's the only metric we have right now. Really, that's universal when it comes to ranking these teams. So with that being said, we're going to break it all down. Make sure you're subscribed, as always, presented by BetMGM. If you're a college football sicko, welcome home. We're talking college football, nothing but college football year-round. There's a lot of things to talk about during the regular season. These rankings being part of that, and the man asking the questions, and also giving some answers from time to time. Best dressed man on the internet. Again, not just YouTube, the internet in general. Kaiden Smith, you might know Miss Cato. Brother, frosty season, crispy season. You're dressed to impress. How we living?
Doing great, JD. I mean, I appreciate the title as best dressed on the internet. They'll never know what's from here down, though. It could be shorts. It could be terrible.
Swim trunks.
It could be terrible from here down, but that's for you to know and everyone else to try to find out.
Yeah, I wanted it's not a challenge, by the way, for folks trying to find that out. Nobody try any weird stuff and try to stalk Cato. I don't know. The internet's a crazy place. People are doing crazy things all the time and trying to find people's addresses. It is what it is, but there's an address out there in Columbus, Ohio, where the number one team in America resides, Cato. What's on your mind there?
Yeah, JD. Death taxes in Ohio State, number 1 overall. They stay on top coming off of a bye week. They now head into a game against Penn State that looks a little bit different than it did in the preseason. Do you worry at all about the Buckeyes maybe not being battle-tested enough coming up this postseason?
Not really. Not really, because I think the Texas game, as much as the Texas game has like a different perspective on it right now.
Long time
ago. I think that probably did them well. I also think the Washington game did them well. I think by the time they get to the college football playoff, they will have ideally now slain their Michigan Demons, and they will have played in the Big Ten title game. So even if they don't win the Big Ten, they will still have played more than likely in Indiana. So not right now, Cato. I'm feeling pretty good about the Buckeyes right now heading into the month of November.
Yeah, I think it'll come down to the Michigan game for them, because especially if Michigan's kind of fighting for a playoff spot, even if they weren't, though, I think Michigan's going to give them their best shot. We know the stakes of that game, and I think that will have a playoff-type feel probably to get them going before the Big Ten title game and so on and so forth.
I still think they want to prove themselves, too. Like we said it before the year, there's a lot of guys that weren't in major roles during last year's national title. Like Julian saying, he was holding a clipboard last year. A bunch of new starters on that defense that want to get their own national title ring that's different than one they had from a year ago. So I think the lack of entitlement will help root out some complacency. So battle test is a different, I guess, sector of things, but I think Ohio State, I trust them right now. And I think they're going to be still in position to go do all they want to do when it comes to that playoff.
Yeah, whether it's these rankings or the Nothing But Ball rankings, there is always a faction of the comment section talking about Ohio State's strength of schedule. So that's for y'all.
Good
Appreciate
question,
y'all.
though. Yeah, hey, this is a little something for you to nibble on in the comment section there, huh?
Oh, yeah.
That? I like that, Cato. Throwing him a bone, man of the people.
You know who got thrown a big bone? Curt Cignetti.
Nice.
In a big bag.
Yeah.
Number 2, Indiana, they stay. Number 2, celebrated a dominant 56-6 win over UCLA this weekend, featured both Mendoza brothers. JD, the Hoosiers now boast the number 3 scoring offense and defense in the nation. Do you think they're the most well-rounded team in the nation?
I think A&M's pretty well-rounded, but it's hard to argue with the product that Indiana's working with. 11.6 million bones well spent on a one Curt Cignetti, dude. Have you seen some of the snapshots from him during the game where they're up by like 1 million? He's still just looking. He's just looking just like upset.
The resting Sig face is hilarious.
I think he's awesome. So I think they're as well-rounded as anyone in America. I think that matchup a lot better than people realize with some of these teams. Like I know it's Indiana, and as the college football public, we have a hard time getting behind new logos just because traditionally it's like, oh, the Bama logo, they're going to be good. Georgia logo, they're going to be good, and so on and so forth. But like the Indiana logo is the real deal. It's here to stay with Cignetti being here to stay. They are as well-rounded as anyone in the country. I'd probably take them second in the well-rounded draft, just for the record here. A&M probably number 1. Indiana number 2.
Yeah, I think Marcel Reed's legs are like a big difference in that, and we're obviously about to get to A&M here shortly.
Sure.
But I think Indiana is the most consistent team in the country. Like week in and week out, man, like their best players play great, and their highlights look the same every week. It's their running back touching the end zone, it's Surratt mossing people, it's Mendoza doing his thing. Like I think, I'm going to call it right now, I think they'll have the most All-Americans in the country this year.
Ooh.
Like they have, like they're just consistent, man. Like if you're putting up 50 every week and the team you're playing is like barely touching the end zone, like you're going to have guys putting up numbers, and I think they're going to have quite a few.
I can't wait to get to combine. Well, I can wait, but I'm excited to get to like combine time and NFL draft time. And we're like, this guy from Bloomington came out of nowhere under Kurt Signetti, and we're talking about all the invites that they have to the combine, because that's always a thing to track. Is Ohio State had 75 guys at the combine this year. Indiana is going to be one of those teams that is, if not in the double digits, I think flirting with double digits because of what you just said. All-Americans, personnel, they got it. Indiana. They got it. Nothing tricky about it. They got it.
Senior Bowl guys, watch list guys. Kurt's doing the thing. This is what big-time programs do. So shout out to the guy that gets Googled. Number 3, Texas A&M. As we just mentioned, the Aggies went on the road and routed LSU, ultimately leading to the demise of their head coach, Brian Kelly. Marcel Reed stole the show for me, JD. He had 310 total yards, 4 total touchdowns. If the season ended today, would you give Reed the Heisman?
Ooh, would I give him the Heisman? Yes. I'll just say yes. Ty Simpson has been awesome, but if I'm going off of like the last game we got to see, Marcel Reed, with the performance he had, if you're making a case for the Heisman, it's hard to not say Marcel Reed would have solidified himself for the Heisman. Now, I think part of this too is the perspective we have going into conference title weekend. We're tracking the Heisman stuff, I think, pretty closely, and we're looking for somebody to separate from the pack. So if we had the thought process going into last weekend of this is the last week of the season until we get the Heisman Trophy out, I think that would be like the Heisman moment, if you will. So since we're not totally viewing it that way, I still have Ty Simpson ahead in the rankings based on the body of work, but Heisman moment would have been solidified there for Marcel Reed as they empty out the place in Death Valley and tell Brian Kelly to go find a new job as he scoots into the end zone on the 40-piece LSU. So the answer is yes.
Yeah, I think this was his Heisman moment. I think it's the first one we've had this year, if we're being honest. I think it's just such a weird pack of Heisman like candidates. Some have said it's like the worst in a while, because I feel like there's not a lot of there's not like one player in the country that stands out as like the best in the country right now. And when these guys have been on the biggest stages, I think this has been the best consistent performer on big stages all year is Marcel Reed. I think he's the best and most impactful player on an undefeated team this year, and I think that's why I would give him the nod personally.
I want to camp for just a quick second on A&M because, dude, their swagger feels different than previous years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like A&M, I think A&M fans, we talk about it multiple times throughout the course of the last couple of videos on this show and the show in general, but Aggie fans are still waiting for that other shoe to drop for battered Aggie syndrome to rear its ugly head. This A&M team doesn't feel like they're thinking about that at all.
Yeah.
Like they're just out there having a good time. They feel pretty carefree. They're out there, oh, we're down by 4 at LSU. No worries. We'll reset. We'll go do our thing in the second half and just run away with this. Do you get that same vibe, Kato? I feel like they've got a different personality about themselves that seems to serve well to them resetting, having the proper edge, but also not tight. Like it's a very interesting blend right now in College Station that I don't know that we've seen in the last decade plus.
Yeah, I think it's to the point now where you're not on their schedule, like they're on your schedule. Like you see that logo now on this schedule, and week after week throughout the season, it's like, dang, like we don't want to play them. And on top of that, if it's at A&M, I think when you parlay what they are right now and their home field advantage, I think they got the best thing going right now. And now they're proven to be road warriors. They have their 3rd straight road game coming up, and they've been completely unfazed. They've embodied the personality of their head coach, and they have the personnel to back it up. They have so many ways to kill you. Like we mentioned before, one of the most well-rounded teams in the country. I mean, I predicted it last time. I think they'll be in the Natty, man. I think they're that good, and if they don't make it, it's just some of these, like, maybe the decision-making will catch up to them. Marcel does.
Sure.
Hang the ball around a little bit. We've complimented them for kind of adjusting to every style of game, but that does mean you have games where you give up a bunch of points, and there's been some games where the offense isn't as going as well. But
live dangerously a little bit.
Yeah, they live a little bit more dangerously than some of the teams ranked above them. But man, are they good? And they do have a different swag. They've even upgraded the swag, more helmet combos, the all black sometimes, the all maroon. Like their swag's growing on me for sure. So
let's zoom out. Well, one, if you're an Aggie fan, subscribe, because Cato picked y'all to win the national freaking championship. So if you needed a reason to be dialed in as an A&M fan, there's your reason. But let's zoom out a second here, because I think the reason why you wouldn't go to A&M if you are a prospect or you're in the portal, you say, well, yeah, they got money, yeah, they got some brand power, that's great, but they never really do anything, is what the negative recruiting would say. Same thing they said against Miami the last couple of years. But now you zoom out and look at the way that A&M's trending under Mike Elko. I don't know why you would say no to A&M when it comes to them trying to get you via the portal at the high school level. That's not me making a billboard statement to have all these high school prospects that watch this show commit to A&M, but like the negative recruiting that you can have against a Mike Elko and against an A&M is no longer there, because they're a team of substance. They have a fun offense. They get it to their skill players. They run the football. Like everything's coming up to the right for A&M is what I'm saying here, Cato. I guess is my point. So the future is bright, I think, even just outside of this year for the folks in College Station.
Let me just say this. We've talked about it before. There's nothing that activates the NIL more than winning, getting close, seeing it right there. And I'll tell you what, if they cap off this regular season with a resounding win against Texas, I think the recruiting landscape in that state especially could turn a little bit. I think the trend for both of those teams is going in different directions right now, and we'll get to Texas here shortly. But, yeah, man, love the Aggies this year. Love what they're doing.
It's good stuff. No, I wanted to camp out there for a second, just give the Aggies a little bit of their love that's been due when they get a head coach fired, I suppose.
Who doesn't love a little camp out at College Station, man?
Well, REI.
I respect it.
Good camping in College Station, I'm assuming. I don't know.
Can only assume. Number 4, Alabama. Crimson Tide. They had a great fourth quarter to sneak out of South Carolina with a win on Saturday. Did you leave that game with more areas of concern for Alabama, or more impressed with kind of their competitive composure following their 7th straight win?
I was more on the composure side of things. I think in modern college football, nobody's going to bat 1,000. Alabama's included within that. I do sort of have this feeling, though, at the same time of, I think they kind of are what they are at some areas. The offensive line, they're not like the most dominant group in America. They're definitely good enough to get to where you want to go, but I don't think we're going to see Alabama run for like 300 yards against anybody, which is fine, but that's something that you account for now here going into the month of November and into the playoff. I was impressed, though, that they found a way in a hostile environment, in a team with everything to maybe not everything. I was going to say everything to gain, but that's not really the case. Nothing to lose, more or less, with what the season has been for South Carolina. It would have been everything to them to get a win over Alabama and kind of flip the script on how you look at their season. I was impressed they found a way on the road, is I guess the best way to say it, Cato.
Yeah, it's Cocktober. I mean, South Carolina is going to give their best shot. I think Lenoris plays like weirdly well against Bama too. Like last year, he was doing some of the same stuff where it's just like throwing dudes off of him. Like he's that guy, man. But yeah, I have some concerns about the run game. I feel like it's not as creative as I'd like. Jim Miller, kind of one cut kind of guy, good back for sure. But the defense too, some concerns at times. But they seem a little gettable, but they're winning the games. Like this is what we were worried about with Kalen DeBoer last year is them winning in those spots, and they're doing it now, man. I think that's the scariest thing of all. It's just the way they're finding ways to win and getting used to it and probably comfortable in those situations. Another team comfortable in those situations, man, the Georgia Bulldogs, number 5. They're coming off a bye week, but they're heading to that rivalry game against Florida. JD, a couple teams have had interim head coaches pull out some impressive wins this season. This is Florida's first game without Billy Napier. Do you have any level of concern in that regard for the Bulldogs in this spot in Jacksonville?
One, you're on fire with the segues. Let's make sure that's out there for the public to hear. The uncomfortable to comfortable situations. Georgia, I like that, just for the record. I do have concern because Florida's talented enough to beat Georgia, which is a weird thing to say out loud, but everybody that's played Florida has said the same thing. A&M, hey, that's a really good roster in Florida. LSU, hey, that's a really good roster in Florida. Like, we weren't ever questioning the personnel for Florida. It was a matter of putting it together, playing complementary football, not shooting themselves in the foot. Like, Georgia has been proven to start slow a few times throughout the course. Like, almost like it's been their personality to start slow. They oversleep every single game. They hit the snooze, and then they show up in the second or third quarter, and you're like, oh, good, Georgia, glad to have you here. Florida is good enough on the defensive side to where if you give them a 10-point lead, outside of Bama, this is the toughest defense they will have to come back against.
Yeah, I think there's a new head coach theory out there, because you fire your coach, you have an interim all of a sudden, if it's your offensive guy, which we've seen in a couple of these situations, you're running a completely different kind of offense and something that's not on film. Yeah. Florida's had 2 weeks to prep. They have still plenty of talent with DJ Lackway and those receivers and Jaden Ball. Interesting spot for sure. I think some BetMGM dollars might be spent on the first quarter, first half, kind of spread a little bit, but we'll see.
Receiver coach Billy Gonzalez, interim head coach. Does it mean something? I don't know.
They play hard for
the offense.
If Florida does one thing, it's play hard for a Billy. So we shall see.
Let's see.
Number 6, Oregon. The Oregon Ducks defeated Wisconsin 21-7 during a monsoon in Eugene. JD, preseason you predicted an undefeated Oregon team stubbing their toe against Iowa in this spot. Do you still favor the Hawkeyes in this matchup?
I do not, because Oregon already got this, not a toe stub. You can't call Indiana a toe stub, but they already got a loss on their schedule, on their resume rather. I think that gets them a little bit more dialed in. Also, Iowa coming off of a big win over Penn State a couple of weeks ago. Maybe they're reading their own press clippings, feeling good about themselves. I like Oregon to roll.
Yeah, notably you picked Florida to win preseason too. So things are subject to change this week.
Also
things change.
Picked LSU to win the national championship. And
hey, I picked Penn State, buddy.
Here we are
there with you. If you want your head coach fired, by the way, just hit me and JD up and let us know, and we'll pick them for the Natty next year. They'll be out of there.
At a fee.
Yeah,
not free. We don't get head coaches fired for free, but we'll do it for you.
You'll be seeing our lawyer. Number 7, Ole Miss. They looked great on both sides of the ball. 34-26 win at Oklahoma. I thought it was their most impressive win of the season. 34 points for the Rebels, over 300 yards passing again for Trinidad Chambliss, 4th time this season. JD, is Chambliss and Kiffin the best signal caller, play caller duo in college football right now?
Yes.
They're hooping, man.
Yes, they're rolling. Maybe Marcel Reed and Colin Klein.
That's a good call.
There's so much around them, and I think Lane Kiffin, and you know that he's going to cook something up for you. And also the nuance of we're going to wait till after 15 seconds to get out of the huddle. So Oklahoma and their green dot have no more communication with Venables, so they can't steal our – it's all just so much chess, dude. I said this during our rankings after week 9 of the college football season. I want to go back to it. I have Ole Miss at 4, which is several spots ahead of Georgia, who they lost to. I don't apologize for it. Ole Miss has just looked really good. And I know that they lost to Georgia, but they were up 9 in the second half. I don't want to do the whole hypothetical Ole Miss could have beat Georgia, but Ole Miss has looked really good, and last week was enough for me to say, all right, I'm in. I'm in on the Lane train. I'm in on Ole Miss. Chambliss and Kiffin are so good together. It's stupid.
Yeah, and I think Marcel's scrambling is kind of like a cheat code too. Like some of these undesigned runs, it's just like Marcel's cooking. And then, Heupel and Joey have been having a great year. We've kind of seen other, like Hendon Hooker and other guys in that offense do well. Mendoza and Haynes too, also very good. I think the chess that Lane is playing, specifically using teams' defensive weaknesses against him, their strengths against him, like he's operating at the highest level, I think, maybe of his career. And I think Trinidad being a D2 player is just bonus points there for sure.
Good way to say it.
Who doesn't need any bonus points? Number 8, Georgia Tech. Another Georgia Tech win. They rolled over Syracuse 41-16. JD, would more dominant, lopsided wins like this for the Yellow Jackets give you more confidence in them not just being like an ACC participant or a CFP participant when it comes to those title games, but a team that could actually win some games?
Yeah, because Haynes King's taking less hits. I want less tread on that dude's. I want as minimal tread on that dude's tires as humanly possible. I want him handing it off. I want him holding Gatorade in the clipboard in the fourth quarter. More of that is going to serve Georgia Tech well in November, December, and ideally, if you're a Georgia Tech fan, maybe January. I don't know. But yeah, to answer your question, absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's what everyone's waiting for from the ACC and the Big 12 teams. Like, who can start really putting belt to behind and looking like a team that's playing beyond the competition. So if they can do that, man, Pitt, Georgia to end the year, I'm excited for those two games, man. Shout out the Jackets.
It's gonna be fun.
Number 9, Vandy, still turnt, hosting College Game Day, gritty 17-10 win over Missouri. JD, they're on the doorstep of the college football playoff with just one loss. They have a trip to Texas this weekend. They host Auburn and Kentucky, and then a trip to Tennessee to end the season. Do you have them making the playoff?
I feel like I'm going to get painted as like a Vandy hater because I picked against them so often. I'm going to say no to this question.
Oof.
I worry about the Texas spot. I worry about the Tennessee game. Auburn, who knows with how they've looked at this point in the year. Vandy and Diego Pavia has not lost to Hugh Freeze, so I won't pick that to be a loss. But one loss already. I think they lose to Texas. I think they lose to Tennessee. I've been wrong all year on Vandy, so if you're a Vandy fan, you probably just say good. But no, I don't think they make the playoff. Personally, I think the margins are just a little bit thin when it comes to the things they need to do to win football games, and I think that at some point in time will run out when they play the Texas personnel on defense and when they have to match scores against the Tennessee offense.
No, I think that's extremely fair, just given their play style. And it's November, man. Like, Vandy, this team's great, but they'll remember them for what they do this month, because they could either just stamp themselves in school history or lose a couple road games that no one would really give them any gripes, I think, about losing about still. You make a good bowl game, you make the CFP. Vandy is in a completely different spot right now, and Pavia and their head coach deserve all the credit. That bald head.
He's going to roll down here, dude. Pavia is. Kick that door in and be like, y'all think we're making the playoff? All right. And then they'll go make the playoff just because we said that. But
that would, if they make it, we know why.
Yeah.
Number 10.
You're welcome, Vandy.
Number 10, two number 10 ranked teams this year. This week, I want to make that clear. It's very rare, but we got it right now. The first number 10 team we'll talk about is Miami. After a 7-7 tie at halftime, they put their foot on the gas, beat Stanford 42-7. They've showed a lot of very highs and lows in their last two games, but the most important question I think about Miami right now, JD, is how did you feel about those camouflage uniforms they wore this weekend?
I knew something was coming. I was like, the most important camo uni.
I started selling it too much.
It was great. No, I loved it. And we've just, spent a lot of time together, having done this show and been covering college football for a living together. So it is what it is. Dude, they're heinous. So they're so bad. and I love and support the troops. I think the troops would have been like, hey, we appreciate this. Maybe just don't wear those. Like, it's doing the opposite of supporting us when you wear those. We actually feel worse about ourselves when you do stuff like that. So y'all just do your thing. Wear the cool Miami uniforms. Y'all got a sweet logo. I'm a fan of the Miami colorway and the swag and all that. That was not at all supporting the troops for my money with them wearing those unis.
Yeah, I think that it's like a moral question. Like, can you say a camo or like military appreciation jersey is bad? And the answer is now yes, because I think multiple people now have gone on the front lines and been like, obviously respect the troops, but these uniforms are not great. I think it raining didn't help. I didn't mind them as much as other people, but I think Adidas, do your homework, man. You can do better, and I think that's the overarching problem here is that Adidas just did not execute those the way they wanted. And I'm not a big fan of their uniforms at large, if we're being honest.
Really?
I think specifically,
we could riff for a while there, yeah.
I think what they do with Miami specifically is nah. They have some other heaters. I think the A&M stuff, like I mentioned before, is awesome. Keeping it simple. They dropped the ball here. They've done it several times. And best of luck to the Volunteers who are going back to Adidas here soon.
Let's just give them money. Let's not wear uniform. Let's just give a big donation to the U.S. military. Thank you for your service. And call it a day. Maybe they did that too, but
some focus groups. Send some our way. Send some mock-ups. We'll keep it honest with you clearly about your uniforms.
Hey, bad news. These kind of suck. You guys are great, but these are not very good.
Yeah, we'll let you know. All your needs here on the Hard Count. Number 10 again, BYU. Undefeated again. They rolled after a slow start against Iowa State. They now have a bye week before an electric game against Texas Tech. JD, I know you're still pretty big on Texas Tech, still a believer in them. If the Cougars and the Red Raiders faced off 10 times on a neutral field, what do you think the final bout would be there?
I think you get 7 games. I shouldn't say 7. 7's a lot. I'll take 6 for Texas Tech. Texas Tech, too, notably has had some issues with the health of their quarterbacks. I believe Will Hammond is injured. Baron Morton has been dinged up at different points throughout the year. I think Texas Tech wins the majority of those. But listen, at a certain point, too, you got to kind of look in the mirror and say, maybe I'm the one who's with the problem here. Maybe I'm the one who's been wrong about BYU enough to where I can just kind of admit that. It takes a big man to admit his faults, and I am that big man, to quote Michael Scott. I think BYU would win their fair share of those, but I think that one more would go to Texas Tech if they played it 10 times.
Bear Bachmeier is also a big man, a big boy. He's a freshman. And, I think he would, for my opinion, I think he would give them the slight edge. I think 6 games go to BYU there because of the Bachmeier of it all. He's just a gamer, man. I never had a doubt in this game. I live bet it. I have no apologies about it. And BYU does BYU things with Bear, man. They're a fun watch, and I can't wait for that one next week. Maybe game day, back-to-back Big 12 games. We'll see.
I don't know.
Number 12, Notre Dame, ironically. Notre Dame goes to Boston College coming off of a bye week. But, JD, their head coach, Marcus Freeman, has been in a lot of talks for all of these head coaching openings. Are you worried about that potentially being a distraction for the Fighting Irish?
Not really, just because it's Marcus Freeman. And I think his ability to get his team dialed in has been proven time and time and again. And I also think, quite frankly, if Marcus Freeman was going to go to an LSU or go to a Florida, I don't think we'd have any knowledge of that. I think for a lot of other coaches, we'd get the tweet from the On3 social account saying, talks between so-and-so and LSU are heating up, talks between so-and-so and Florida, so-and-so is the front runner for the job. I think for Marcus Freeman, it would be very Lincoln Riley-ish or very Brian Kelly-ish. I know Notre Dame fans hate to hear that. But remember where you were when those guys got announced as the head coaches at where they are now? It was like, wait a second. Lincoln Riley was being talked about for LSU, and now he's at USC. Brian Kelly's leaving Notre Dame for LSU. Like, wow. I think it would be such a whiplash thing to where it would be so to the vest. So the answer there is twofold. One, I think they'd be very to the vest about it. Two, I think that Marcus Freeman has proven he is as good as anyone else in college football to keep his team locked in by nature of what they've done this point after 2 losses and what they did last year after the NIU loss.
I just can't think of anything funnier than if LSU was like, hey, like, this guy's doing better than Brian Kelly did at Notre Dame. Maybe he'll come do better in the Bayou. Come over. All I know is that wherever Marcus Freeman goes, his barber's coming with him. So,
oh my gosh,
best of luck to everyone in this coaching search. But that will be in the fine print there that the barber is coming with Marcus Freeman, in fact, and he will continue to get his daily haircuts. It seems
biggest get via the portal. If Marcus Freeman leaves, his barber.
NIL deal for that guy.
Straight up.
Number 13, Texas Tech, who we just mentioned, as you just mentioned, JD. They did what most teams do against Oklahoma State. They won 42-10, but they did lose backup quarterback Will Hammond, who was already filling in for an injured Baron Morton. Morton's supposed to be back this week against K-State, but do you have any worries going forward about the injuries at the quarterback position for Texas Tech?
I do, just because of what you said. Baron Morton's kind of been dinged up this year, and you know this. Some of this is just the way that the ball bounces and the way the game is. Like, certain guys end up getting dinged up at, a certain season. Sometimes I think you see it compound too, like Baron Morton. The fact that he's been dinged up already at this point in the year multiple times makes you hold your breath a little bit more. And you already had the idea of having Will Hammond behind him and saying, well, if we lose Baron Morton, we don't want that, but we have a dude who's more than capable of pulling the trigger behind him. But now without that, I do worry a little bit about Texas Tech. And you haven't played the game. Myself haven't played the game. We know that's just kind of part of it, but it's unfortunate. And it's a real thing you have to worry about.
Yeah, I think it's tough. Both of their play styles, too, they like to use their legs. So be curious to see if this team is talented enough around the quarterback to keep pushing in the right direction and hopefully keep that college football playoff alive. Yeah. Number 14, Tennessee. The Vols went to Kentucky and won 56-34. This is their 6th 40-plus point game this season. JD, how many teams do you think could beat the Vols in a shootout?
How many teams could beat the Vols in a shootout?
No defense is being played in this game. Like, how many teams are outscoring Tennessee? Georgia's obviously one.
Maybe, Georgia, I guess, is
because they've done it.
Do that. Yeah.
Don't know if they could do it twice, but
dude, Alabama and A&M.
I think USC on a good day could do it.
Yeah,
there's only a couple teams in the country, man, that can go with them.
It's a short list. It's a short list, and that might be why they end up getting to the playoff. Like, it's weird to say that the Kentucky game makes me feel better about them as a playoff team, but Cutter Boley went off, the Kentucky quarterback. He had 330 yards.
He had a great day.
It was awesome, and it was like, no, you still lost the game by 2 scores. Like, it might be that way for Tennessee this year, dude.
Chicks dig the long ball, and I think if Josh Heupel just continues to just recruit guys that can throw the ball like this, like moving forward, because we saw what it was last year, we see what it is this year. Like, what if he's just like, yeah, oh well, like Tim Branks, do your best, but like I'm just gonna bring someone in every year that can throw the ball a country mile, and we're gonna put up 50 if you don't mind.
Just the Tennessee camp for their prospects is, hey, line up right here. How far can you throw?
Yeah, they have Joe Milton, Jamarcus Russell there. Like, just okay, I see a little bit of me here.
Coach this guy.
It'll be fun to watch that game in Norman this weekend, man. We'll get to the Sooners here sooner or later. But number 15, Virginia, the cardiac Cavs, man, they do it again. 4th straight win in a 1-score game. This time 1-point overtime dub against Chapel Hill that came down to the last play of the game. They lost by an inch, Chapel Hill. You were right there. Long trip to Berkeley this weekend to play a good, fun, and frisky Cal team. JD, does the Virginia Cavaliers of luck run out this weekend?
I'm going to go ahead and say yes. But if you're a Virginia season ticket holder, how much money are you making back by seeing all of these overtimes? Because you're paying for 4 quarters.
Free football.
You're seeing so much free football. At a certain point in time, do these Virginia Cavalier tickets start to pay for themselves? I would argue yes. I think they've been awesome this year. I do think that going out to Cal also having just played an overtime game themselves, Sagapatelli is unbelievable. I'll go ahead and say luck runs out, but I won't be shocked if the Cavs pull it off in 3 overtimes at the Cal Algorithm. Wouldn't shock me at all.
You talk about just a quarterback matchup. JKS, Chandler Morris. Give me they have the bets. They have the BetMGM bets. You can bet the exact margin. Give me a close one. 1 to 3 points in this one. This will be fun. Number 17, Cincinnati. The Bearcats beat up on your preseason Big 12 champion pick, Baylor, this weekend, so they stay undefeated in Big 12 play. Big one this weekend versus Utah. College game day will be there in Salt Lake City. I'm thrilled Cincinnati's getting that national attention. Shout out Coach Satterfield over there. Do you think now they're the most underrated team in the country? Do they have the belt for that?
I think so. I think that's fair. One is, I think a lot of people don't know what to do when it comes to assessing the Big 12, and so they kind of just get grouped into the madness of that conference is crazy. We'll pay more attention to it when it gets to playoff time, and ASU's good. They just lost. What's going on with them? Texas Tech, they're good. They already lost to ASU. We'll just sort that out a little bit later. I think Cincinnati quietly has been one of the most exciting teams in college football to watch. Brennan Sorsby's awesome, dude.
Great player.
He's been awesome. I'm so glad game day's there to highlight that game because it's going to be a really, really good battle between Whittingham and Satterfield and Sorsby and potentially Dampier if he's playing for Utah. Yeah. We'll see. He was on the game day graphic, so maybe some graphic science there. I don't know. But to answer your question, yes, 100% Cincinnati.
Yeah, I think Iowa State had the belt for a little bit. They lost it. I think Cincinnati's picked it up now, and I'm excited for them, man. It's a cool moment for that program that people forget. Been to the CFP. Luke Fickell put them on the map. It'd be cool if they could put themselves back on the map, get back to the CFP, and make more playoff appearances than a lot of teams. So could be fun. Was not fun in Norman this weekend. Number 18, Oklahoma, took their second loss of the season at Ole Miss. JD, John Mateer just didn't look like himself again. Did he come back too fast from that hand surgery, and should Dr. Shin be brought in for questioning?
Should Dr. Shin, he should be brought into this show for questioning. And we can break all the HIPAA rules there are, and we'll just talk Mateer surgery. We'll give him some truth serum, and we'll just talk surgery and where Mateer's at. It's hard for me to say he came back too quickly because I have to think the hardware in the hand. Again, I'm not a doctor, so I'm speaking a little bit out of turn here. What I was told when I had hardware in my collarbone was, hey, you can't break it again. Therefore, it's all off of your pain tolerance. So if John Mateer didn't have a pain in his hand to throw the football, I think gives him the best chance to win. I don't know what to make of Oklahoma right now, man, because I kind of thought they would keep trending upwards after the Michigan game because the Michigan defense is so good, and we're like, okay, well, they're scoring 20-plus there, and Mateer's wheeling around the yard. It's more so just the psychological part of this with I don't know how comfortable he is playing with whatever's going on with his throwing hand or whatever else is going on with the Oklahoma offense.
Yeah, we don't know what we don't know, and maybe we find out more this offseason. I will say, I think we all got lost in the excitement of the Dr. Shin, the Chipotle leading up to Red River. I think we all got so excited about that we just lost sight of the fact that, and I had this in the back of my head very deep, maybe John, you just don't play, get better. You were going to lose 2 games anyways, it looks like, at least. And maybe you can come back healthier for this game. Say you have the same record. Say you lose Red River in the South Carolina game after. Whatever it looks like. If you were going to have 2 losses on your record and head into this game, you could have just had John come back this game and maybe he's more true to himself. I mean, I was watching the tape of him against Michigan and some of those hole shots he was hitting and some of those throws, and it just doesn't look like what we get right now. So it's a tough one for sure. And we'll see what he looks like this weekend. We hope he keeps getting better. But tough situation right now with the rest of that schedule for sure for the Sooners.
Yeah.
Tough situation as well for number 19, Missouri. They lose to Vandy, 1-score game. You lose your starting quarterback, Bo Pribula, looks like for the season there. Still only their second loss of the season, but they do have a toughish rest of the schedule, A&M, Mississippi State, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. JD, is Missouri's season over?
I don't know if it's over. I think Matt Zollers actually was relatively impressive given the spot he walked into and being a true freshman and supposed to be third on the depth chart going into the year. And, oh, by the way, we need you to play now with Vanderbilt on the other side of the field. It's game day. We need you to step up here. But I thought he played pretty well. I don't know if this season's over, but here's the thing. And I don't want to flip your question too much here, Cato, but I'm curious to see here Eli Drinkwitz's name in the conversation for the Florida job. The LSU job makes sense. If they lose another game here, he becomes, I think, I don't know if he's a more likely candidate, but he becomes a more available candidate with Ole Miss probably making the playoff here. Do we see Florida or LSU go after Drinkwitz if Missouri is 9-3, maybe a little bit more heavily? I think that checks out pretty logically to me. So season's not over. If they're frisky and they can find a way to finish strong and get a win over A&M, we're back on and popping. But I will not pick Missouri to be a playoff team like I did, I guess, a week ago, 2 weeks ago now, for our midseason predictions, given what happened to Pabula.
Yeah, I think it's so interesting. Like him and Lane, I think a lot of people are tracking these coach candidates to see where they end up at the end of the season and how that's going to impact where they go. So very interesting. JD, I messed up royally and skipped Louisville.
We're great.
16 ranked team in the country. I'm sorry, Cards Nation. We're going to go back to you, then finish that last five.
I love it.
That we had there. Number 16, Louisville. Big win against Boston College. Another offensive game plan, just masterpiece from Jeff Brom. They rushed for over 300 yards in that game. JD, with the current head coach carousel climate right now and like a seemingly high demand for great offensive minds, do you think this is Brom's last year with Louisville? And where would you maybe want to see him end up if he does part ways with the Cardinals?
That's perfect because you just saved him for the coaching carousel conversation right next to Missouri with Drinkwitz.
That's what reminded me of it. I was like, wait a second. I had a Brom question that I missed. So that's
You're
on me.
playing chess, dude. I absolutely love it. That's first off. Second off, I think he's going to end up somewhere in the SEC. Like, I don't know that he's the first choice for LSU or Florida, but we keep going back to this whole murder mystery metaphor, Cato. He is the butler. He is, dude. He's not the wife that did it for the insurance. He's not the spurned children who never had enough affection from their father that did a crime of passion. He is the butler hanging back in the shadows. He's not the main suspect, but when all the dust settles, he's the one who did it. He's the one who gets one of these big-time jobs, knows the portal, knows offensive football, has done more with less, checks a lot of boxes, dude. And if you get a couple of no's from a couple of different people, things start to shake in a certain way where Jeff Brom has one of those jobs in the SEC.
Come on down, Jeff Brom. It just means more. That'd be fun.
Here.
Brom squad, I'm here for it. Number 20, the Texas Longhorns. Second straight overtime win for Texas against a team with 0 SEC wins, this time coming back from a 31-14 deficit. Arch finished this game strong. Career high 346 yards, 4 total touchdowns. He left this game with an injury, but if he is healthy, could you see this maybe being a jumping off point for Arch and the Longhorns to finish the year strong?
I think so. I mean, I think you saw for the first time Arch kind of let it rip a little bit. And I think you saw them too in a spot where they had to go chase points. And I said this during our reaction to the game, Cato, but is Texas the preseason national title contender that we thought they'd be? Not really. But I was still impressed by what they did against Mississippi State in that fourth quarter. I thought they showed some fight, showed some grit, showed some character. And a game like that to get Arch back right, should he be healthy in the future, I think that's exactly what he needed. Exactly what he needed.
I'm still like rooting for the Cinderella. Like all of a sudden, Arch just starts having 300 a game. They beat Georgia. They beat A&M. Next thing you know, they're in the playoff. I can't rule it out yet. I probably should. The rim still being ranked is probably a big factor in that, but we'll see. Arch, get healthy.
Hope is alive. Keep hope alive. I love it.
I will. Niblet still in the fold. I mean, there's not a lot going on for Texas, but still some hope. So we'll see. Number 21, Michigan. Paul Bunyan stays in Ann Arbor after Michigan beat rival Michigan State. Common Michigan-style win, 276 yards on the ground, stingy defense. Just 8 completions for 86 yards for Bryce Underwood. Do the Wolverines need to be more balanced this year to beat this year's Ohio State team?
Yeah, they do. They definitely do. That Ohio State defense is really good. If all you're doing is running the football, far be it for me to say that's the only way you beat Ohio State, but I don't feel good walking into that game against Ohio State with only one pitch I feel great about. Got to have the changeup and the curve. We got to have something else if we want to try and beat Ohio State this year, man.
Yeah, it just feels like a countdown clock for that game now, right? Like after this Penn State game, we'll see how interesting Penn State can keep it, but like I feel like those two teams are just checking off the days on the calendar until they can play in the game. So we'll see who looks best going into it. Number 22, Houston, cracking into the top 25. They beat the defending Big 12 champs in the Valley, 24-16 against Arizona State. They are very, very quietly 7-1, JD, only lost to Texas Tech. Are they the Big 12 dark horse in this conference, especially if it gets weird like last year did in November?
I think they have to be. You mentioned the schedule they have here going forward the rest of the way. Sets up pretty nice. And I want to take it a step further, not to talk about Houston in the sense of their head coach going somewhere else, but Willie Fritz is a name we should consider here. I understand he's a little bit longer in the tooth, but I mean, I don't think that matters all that much relative to where we are now in college football. I mean, LSU wants to win every 4 years anyway. Like, Willie Fritz makes a lot of sense to me when it comes to some of these other jobs being mentioned. And so what he's doing at Houston right now cannot be overlooked. He's almost like a Big 12 Summerall of sorts, given the success he's had there. So absolutely, Houston is a dark horse to win that conference. And if they're in the playoff, we'll see. We'll see, because they've been frisky, and that has proven to be the case with that win over ASU.
Yeah, I mean, what he did at Tulane, where he's done everywhere, like they win pretty quick. Like after 1 year, he gets his team ready to go, and they beat USC in their Cotton Bowl game when he was at Tulane.
Yeah,
so he can win big games. He's winning the games he's supposed to right now, and even some of the ones he's not at Houston. I wouldn't mind giving him a shot, just given the track record, man. He's a great dude, a great coach. So we'll see if he stays there, takes his talents elsewhere. But number 23, USC, coming off of a bye following that loss to Notre Dame, headed to Lincoln to face Nebraska. 2 two-loss teams, kind of trying to hold on to any of those remaining playoff hopes possibles. What area would you want to see the most improvement from the Trojans coming off their bye week now that they're trying to defend those 2 losses and keep them their only 2 losses?
I think the right answer is the defensive side. When you allow 300 on the ground, it's probably the part of the team that needs to be fixed. Selfishly, I'd like to see them have that run game they had against Michigan show up again and just have them be Big Ten Tennessee, where they're just, hey, defensively we got some issues, sure, but if we can just score 40 on people every single week, that selfishly would be fun to watch. But the right answer is the defensive line.
Yeah, if they can stop that run. Emmett Johnson, good player, but we'll see. Nebraska's not seen a passing game like they're about to see, so that could get interesting real quick. Number 24, Utah. The Utes throttled Colorado with their backup quarterback and now get to host College Game Day for their matchup against Cincinnati. JD, the last time they hosted College Game Day, head coach Kyle Whittingham pulled up sleeveless on a motorcycle. That plus the fact that Dan Lanning has gone shirtless on College Game Day previously this season. What are your expectations for Kyle Whittingham this Saturday?
I think you got to go swim trunks. Right? It'd be the second time we've seen someone wear swim trunks on game day this year, with McAfee doing the high dive at Miami. The precedent is set. Kyle Whittingham, there's a lot of discussion around how long he's going to even coach past this season. Go out with a bang, dude. Go out there, swim trunks. I have no idea how unbelievably cold it's going to be in Salt Lake for game day at that hour, but dude, pull up, show the shoulders off a little bit, get a little calf action, a little thigh action. I'm here for Kyle Whittingham, dude. Like, go out with a bang when it comes to how many more times you might have game day as a head coach in college football. Is that too weird to say, Cato? Is it too weird to say? I don't think so.
My head's nodding over here. I agree with you. He looked surprisingly jacked last time. Go ahead, show off the pythons again if you got to do it, Kyle. I think the crazier he goes, the more we should expect this to be his last season. But also, JD, this is the rare College Game Day in the morning, Sicko's Hour special. Game's not until 9 o'clock. So he has plenty of time to work with. I think he can just unload. He can empty the clip, do whatever he wants, and their game's not for hours. So I fully support him going crazy.
I love that.
Last question. The one I was most looking forward to. Number 25, Memphis. My Memphis Tigers. They did what I knew they would do. They defeated USF at home to take the top spot in the G5 polling for the college football playoff. I've been saying it for weeks. This is the best G5 team. I picked them in the preseason to rep the G5. You were steady with USF. I just want to know, JD, when will I be receiving my flowers for picking Memphis?
I think they're supposed to get here in the next – they might be running late. There's a little bit of weather here in Nashville, so I don't know what that's doing to traffic. Flowers are on the way, though, Cato.
They come to the office, my
absolutely
house. Like, where?
I had them to the office.
Okay, cool.
I don't know if that's weird. I want to make sure – that it's not just a private thing where you get your – it needs to be a public thing. I want everyone in the office space to know, hey, listen, Cato, college football expert, absolutely. G5 Expert is right in line with that title of yours. Okay, so the Memphis Tigers, the way they're looking right now and them trending towards being a college football playoff team, you saw it before the year. It's happening right now in real time. Flowers are on the way. Got a nice little mix, too. We got some carnations. We got some daffodils, daisies, sunflowers. It's a good mix, man. I'm excited for you to get them, but they're very well deserved with you having called your shot and that shot being tracking towards the bullseye as of right now. So flowers are sent your way, brother.
You are the man on the mic. This is what you do, and those verbal flowers, I think, were enough. So you can
Okay.
keep the order. You can keep the flowers.
I can't.
The verbal bouquet.
They're on their way, dude.
The verbal bouquet you did was enough. So
There's no refund. There's no refund. Okay, my question for you, Cato. Last year, you gave out the coveted Greatest Showman title to one Cam Ward. And it was illustrious. It sent ripple effects across the college football media space. I don't know if there's another version of Cam Ward playing college football right now, but if you had to give out your Greatest Showman label to a specific player across college football right now, a guy that you got to watch every Saturday, you're setting your 4-box around this dude playing football, is there a current leader in the clubhouse to receive the Cam Ward Greatest Showman award given out by Kaiden Smith through 9 weeks of the college football season? Who's holding that belt for you?
I forgot I gave Cam Ward that nickname because he and the Titans have not been they have had no showmanship with how they've been playing here in Tennessee, to say the least. Cam Ward's a tough one to beat because of just his unique play style. I mean, vivid flashbacks of this dude being nonchalant, tearing up the Gators in the swamp and doing that every week. It's got to be Marcel Reed, man. I think that He is a showman. The way he plays, the designed run, the scrambles, it's so fun to watch. He put on a show against LSU, and he's slowly but surely, I think he's going to take off with the award going forward this year because, I mean, the Big 12's had some ballers, and the first half of the season has been awesome watching Sawyer Robertson and some of these other cats. But just given the undefeated nature, A&M defending that the rest of the year, Marcel, you have to go through Marcel Reed if you want to put a loss on that record, and I think he's making it very hard to do with what he's doing with his arm and his legs. He has the charisma. I'm seeing videos of him. I'm getting on like the Marcel Reed side of social media where I'm seeing his post-game videos with the boys on the tarmac dancing. I'm fully bought into Marcel Reed. I'll give him my mid-season Greatest Showman award presented by Cam Ward.
I hope and pray that we get to national title media days and we're in the mix and A&M's there purely for the reason that we can show up and he can be awarded the Greatest Showman trophy. Maybe a little top hat action. Maybe it's a cape. I don't know what that trophy would actually be. That's definitely something that we can talk through, and I want to make sure we get that right for the boys when you give that to Marcel. But like, we'll switch roles here. I'll be behind the camera, and you'll be awarding that to Marcel Reed. It'll be a magical moment and probably propel A&M to a national title. Maybe they'll never lose again after that, just to keep it a buck. But
if showmanship won national championships, Miami would have a natty. So we'll see. Still a long way to go, but right now that award is going to look like a firm handshake from me. But we'll workshop the actual hardware here if they do, in fact, make it to that natty. But excited for them. Excited for this weekend, man. Let's get it.
Well, my favorite ship that exists on this show, Cato, is friendship. I appreciate all you do, man, asking the tough questions, 25 of them for 25 ranked teams across the college football landscape. If you have not already, make sure you're subscribed. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. We'll keep this party rolling. We will see y'all next time.